1, 2, 3. Push. Macam mana kita nak buat ni?
Nampak ni, tak tahu.
Jom, kita figure out sama-sama
Jom.
Alright, let's go.
Hi everyone, my name is Daneswaran. Today, my team and I will explain the main components of a PC. Before that, we will disassemble the PC to show and explain each component one by one. Finally, we will assemble all the components back together and test the PC to make sure it works properly. Before that, let me introduce my team members, Hariz, Syahmi and Anaqi. Now, let's jump to the video. Enjoy!
Alright guys, basically this is the PC's casing, and its function is to put all of the components of the PC inside one case. And as you can see here, this is the power supply. Power supply basically supply power to the each component each in the PC, like on the RAM, on the motherboard and things like that. And also as you can see here, we have the cooler right here, and then right here. It's basically to cooling all components on the PC so it doesn't overheat.
This is motherboard, which connect power and enable communication between all computer essential device like CPU, graphic card, storage and RAM. So this is where we put the CPU. This is where we put the graphic card, and this is slot is for RAM.
So, what currently I'm holding right now is what we call as RAM. So, RAM stands for a random access memory. So, what is the function of the RAM? So, the RAM basically temporarily holds a memory, and also it programs CPU for quick access. Other than that, it also enables multitasking, which means it can handle a multiple application at the same time.
So this is a hard disk drive. So it is used to store data permanently. So and the functions of the hard disk drive are to store software and applications, to store operating systems, and to store data users.
So this is the central processing unit. Take a closer look. It's got many pins like here. In short, it called CPU. It is the brain of the computer. It handle instruction from software, such as arithmetic, logic, and input, output, output. And it also control the data flow.
Correct. So, what I'm holding right now, as you guys can see right here, is what we call as GPU, which stands for Graphical Processing Unit. So, the function of GPU is basically it performs a rapidly mathematical operation, which is rendering the images, videos, and also animation, so that it could run smoothly.
Okay, so this is digital versatile disk, which is called DVD, and used to store data and read digital.
So this is heatsink. Its main function is to make sure the CPU doesn't get too hot.
Okay, so this is a CMOS battery. The CMOS battery supplies the power to the motherboard to maintain the BIOS settings, system time, and date even when the computer is switched off. This ensures the system starts correctly every time.
Alright, so we're gonna install the motherboard here. So now I will install the motherboard. On the PC case, I will lower the motherboard inside the PC case, align it, and once it's aligned, I will secure it using screws, and then I will connect some cables from the PSU to get the power supply running. Okay, next I will install the CPU. So I lift the CPU socket retention arm and align the CPU, and then when it's aligned, I will gently place the CPU in the socket, and once it's seated, I lower the retention arm to lock the CPU. So now I will apply the heatsink. So now I will position the heatsink directly on top of the CPU. So and then I secure the heatsink using the mounting mechanism on the heatsink, and then connect the cable into it.
First, make sure the PC is powered off and unplugged. Before installing the RAM, always check the slot and the notch on the RAM stick. The RAM must be lined up with the slot when inserting them, because it only fits one way. Next, gently press the RAM straight down until you hear a click on both sides. This click means the RAM is securely installed. Finally, double check that it's properly seated before closing the case.
First, I insert the GPU into the PCI slot on the motherboard and press it firmly until it locks in place. After that, I connect the power cables from the power supply to the GPU. Finally, I check all the connections to make sure the GPU is properly installed and ready to use. Next, I insert the CMOS battery into the motherboard to ensure the BIOS settings and system time are saved properly.
Inside the PC case, the hard disk is placed in the drive bay, usually located at the front or the bottom of the case. The hard disk is slid into the bay with the connector facing inside and secured with screw. Then a SATA data cable is connected from the hard disk to the SATA port on the motherboard. This connection allows the motherboard to communicate with the hard disk and access stored data.
So next, I will install the DVD drive. First, I slide the drive into the front drive bay until it aligns with the mounting holes, and then I secure it with some screws on the both sides.
After installing all the components, I align the PC casing properly and tighten all the screws using a screwdriver. This ensures the case is secure and keeps the internal components protected. Once all the components are properly assembled and fixed, I close the PC casing carefully. After that, I connect the PC to the power supply and turn it on to test the system. After assembling all the components, the PC is fully assembled and powered on successfully. As shown on the screen, the system boots up properly and smoothly. The task manager is running without any issues. This confirms that all hardware components are detected and the PC is working perfectly.